This session, we are going to cover essential Excel sheets, right? So here we are going to use Google Sheets, which is more common. You need not have to install any tool on your system. So what we are going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We are going to run from the basics. So it will be a quick session. So if at all you already know a little Excel, this will be an introduction. So we'll be brushing up all the concepts. In our other upcoming sessions for Excel, we are going to learn more about it, right? So that is why I would request you to hang in there. Great. Okay, thank you so much. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Yes. So people who are joining us on our social channels, you can join us live on Zoom. The link to the Zoom session is there on the chat, right? So you can find it on the chat itself, right? Great. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Yes. Great. So now you can see, first I'm going to go to this sheets.google.com. From here, you can go ahead and click on this new tab to create a new sheet, right? So another quick way to open a sheet, Google Sheet, is sheets.new. When you do that, you will automatically open a new sheet, right? So here we are going to learn, by taking an example of monthly budget. So this is how you're going to rename your sheet. So this is the whole sheet and these are worksheets. So you can create multiple of them. So we're going to do that. First, I'm going to create a header, right? So you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to write the same monthly budget here. And let's say I'm going to have a header. So let's say it could be like this. Say bills, Jan, Feb, March, right? And here maybe I can say rent, food, travel. So you can say anything else like that, right? So cabs, etc. Right? So you can have your own sheet also. Should not be a problem, right? So anything else also. Let's add grocery, and I'm going to say total here. I'm going to add a tab which says total, and I'm going to have a similar tab total here, right? So this will be the row total. Sorry, this will be the row total, and this will be the column total, right? So here you will have the whole total of the column, and here you will have total of that particular row, right? So let me fill in some random numbers, right? So these are completely random. You can have other numbers also, right? So say 1200 food head. So this is how you work with numeric data. You just have to go ahead and enter values. So this is numeric data and this is text data, right? So I'm going to do the same here. Travel as well. Say similarly for cabs. Okay. So now one way to do total is where I'm going to first introduce about cell references. Now you can see that every cell has its own row and column number. So you can see it here. whenever you can see that the here B column and row 5 is at B5. So at B5 we have 1000. So if you're going to say B9 here and enter, your selector will go to B9, right? So in B column, ninth row, right? So you can also use this cell references from here. But if at all you want to do total, whenever you want to do total of it, you can use the sign equal to. So we are going to learn more about equal to. So here what you can do, equal to. What I'm going to do here is, you can see that there's an automatic prompt, but I'm going to first use each of the cell reference. Let's say first I'm going to select this B10, B5, and then I'm going to use plus. Then I'm going to select, the second cell, the second row below that, and then I'm going to do plus again, do similarly for all of it, right? So this is how you can do sum by using individual sum, references. But the challenge is, you have to use every time the same thing, right? So you have to do plus if at all you add a new column in there. So you'll not have it, new row or a column, you'll not be able to add it in that particular reference, right? So it depends upon your case, how do you want to use it. So now what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to copy it, Control C or Command C, and I'm going to say, go ahead and paste it, right? So when you're doing this, even, each of this formula, whatever you have entered, is also getting copied. And you can see that the value here, it takes the same values in a different cell. So this is called relative reference, because now, because you are moving to column C, all of your entries, which were C5, 6, 7, 8, 9, are becoming C5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So B has become C because you are in the column C. So that is how this Excel or Google Sheets automatically does the formatting when you're moving the formula into a new cell, right? So this is what we have, relative referencing. So we'll also know a little more about absolute referencing. I'll come to there, right? So I'm going to paste it here itself again, right? So this is nice and easy. It is helpful in doing summation for you. Now, similarly, I'm going to do the same here for total. And when you do equal to, you're going to do each cell. And now you can see that there's an autofill suggestion. When you click, it will take autofill suggestion, right? So that is one way. Other way, the traditional way, is you can go ahead and copy paste the same formula. I'm going to copy it, pasting it, and it will automatically take that particular relative reference, right? So now you can see that we have both a total of rows and total of columns, and a grand total as well, right? So now let's say if you want to have another formula, let's say percentage here. I'm going to say percent. Now the challenge here will be like, if I'm how do you do percent? You say equal to, do E5. You can see that there is a suggestion divided by E10, right? And I'm going to say into 100. You can use into asterisk symbol 100, and you can see that there's a percent, right? But let me go ahead and drag it and see if it is working, right? So what it is doing here is, you can see that there is an error which says divide by 0, right? So what is happening here is, because you copied the formula, you're going to copy this formula and paste it below. When you're pasting it, what is happening is, Excel or Google Sheets is taking E5 and it is dividing by the E10, which is 5 rows below it, right? So when you are copy pasting the same formula again here, what is happening is, it is taking E6 divide by E11, which is 5 rows below it, right? So that is the reason you are getting an error here, right? So how do you fix that? So that is where absolute references come in. So what you do here is you use a dollar, right? So when you use a dollar symbol, what happens is you are saying that fix this particular row and that particular column. So what I'm going to do is $E means fix the $E column, and then I'm going to say $10 also. So fix the column and row. When you say $E and $10, so that row and that column is going to be fixed, right? So if I'm going to copy the same thing and paste it here, now you can see that that but E6 is, here E5 is becoming E6, but E10 is not changing, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, I'm going to paste it, Control V for pasting. Now you can see here it will be 100 by, here it will be 100, right? So now you can see that this is how you use relative references. And if at all you want any of your columns or cells to be fixed, you're going to use absolute reference by saying dollar in your formula, right? So now that is where we have understood how to work with numeric and text data. Now let's try to understand how to work with date formats, right? So date kind of formats. So now you have written it Jan, Feb, March, but now you can see if you want to convert it into a date, you can go here and say give a space and say 2022, right? So now when you do that, it becomes into a different format. Now you can double click it and see that it has become into a date format where you can go ahead and select any other date, right? Similarly, you can do the same thing for your other columns also. I'm going to say Feb 2022 gets converted into date, right? So what is the use of that is there is a reference and you can always go ahead and update it. So this is how a date format is created. And if at all you want to change the format of it, you are going to click on format and then go to this number and then click on a different date format, right? So you can select a different date format also. So, and it will go ahead and change that particular date format, right? So if at all you want a different format like date, month, year, can do that. If at all you want a format like Friday and the date, you can even do that, right? So this is how you increase the width of columns and increase the width height of rows. You can do that by dragging. But now you can see that this is how you format or work with dates. So I'm going to leave it like that, right? So you can see that there are other ways to alignment. For example, if you have dot 50, now you are having anywhere decimals, you can even work with that decimal numbers also. So now you can see that here, if I'm going to use decimals, we would want to keep it clean, right? For that reason, I'm going to use a common format here. How do you make the decimals equal? So you can see that here there is increase or decrease decimal spaces, right? So you can make increase, or else what happens is here the neat line that is there, that will go, right? So you can have a common format for every other thing. So you can select multiple numbers and then even give the decimal formats, right? So this will be helpful. So I'm going to remove the decimals currently because Great. So now that we are here, now you can see here, you can use the decimal formatter to format it and reduce the decimals to make it look better, right? So you can use it in this particular way. Similarly, I'm going to do it for all of the columns. So this is how you use relative and absolute referencing. Now let's go ahead and try to understand a little bit more about formulas. Now, if you see here, we have done this by selecting cells, but as Excel gave the reference, you can go ahead and do this. You can say equal to, and then use the suggestion here or use one of the functions, right? So how the function works is you write the name of the function name is sum here, and then you give within brackets the argument or the values, right? So here I'm going to select from beginning till end, right? So this is how you can use a sum function and maybe copy paste the same thing in the other formulas, right? So if at all you want to do the same thing here also, you can go ahead and say equal to sum of these arguments. And then what you can do is instead of copy pasting, use this feature, this blue color box that is coming here, hold there and drag it. So when you do that, you can automatically drag a formula which will take the relative reference, right? So you can use this drag feature also. So we can see a little more about formulas here. There are many formulas. So I'm going to take a few default formulas. All of these formulas are predefined, right? Microsoft or Google have already defined these functions. All you have to do is use them by name, right? So if at all you want to work with them, you just have to say equal to name of the function. So now because I've said max, it is going to say max of, and then you can have the whole set of range, right? So I'm going to say the max of all of these, right? So you can select from beginning till end, which will select everything in between B5 and E9. So whole of this set it will take, and I'm going to say close it. So now you can see that the max of these is 5,700. Similarly, minimum is equal to minimum of the whole set. And I'm going to say, you can say there is minimum and there is count also. Like if you want to count how many values you have in total, you can just go say equal to, say, give the name of your function count and give, close it, right? So it is saying that there are total 20 total values here. So if at all you want to average it, so how do you do average? You are going to say equal to AVE. So whenever you are start typing, it will give you a little, all the list of all the functions. You can even choose from there, and or else you can even click here to get a formula menu where you can work with that, right? So more on formulas, you can see that will be here also. So you have to go into insert and then click on function, right? So I'm going to insert it from there. So you can remember function, or you come here into the function and then search for maybe the common functions, or there are a set of whole many different functions, right? So in that there are some specific function, logical functions, there are data related functions, and there are also statistical functions, right? So average is one of the statistical function. You can select it from here or from the common list, or remember the name of the formula, right? So I'm going to say equal, so average, say equal to average of let's say whole of it, or maybe total, right? So I'm going to say average of whole of these Jan, Feb, and March total expenses. So what is the average expense? It will give it to me. right? So 4,750 was the total average that was there all throughout these months, right? So we understood a few default functions. Then you can always go ahead and insert rows by clicking here and saying insert new row, and then have a new say, maintenance. Okay. And then have the same, fill this particular row also. So you can create a new row like that. Or if at all you want to create another column, say another month goes by and you say you insert, you can click on insert one column left or right, and then say April 2022, right? So if you remember, we have given a formula. So what you can do here is you can select all of these, and maybe if you drag it, you can automatically get April here, right? So because that was a formula, so it also works in that particular fashion, or you can type it manually, right? So you can fill in your data and you can update your formulas to include the new cell that you're bringing in, right? So which would be E5, right? So, and you can drag the same formula to update all of these functions here, right? So if at all you enter any new value, let's say I'm going to enter here 1500, so it'll automatically get updated, right? So formulas give you that convenience that if you change any value later, you can get the updated values in those particular formula cells, right? So that is how we are going to work with columns. This is how you go ahead and delete column. And now we've understood about inserting columns as well, right? So we'll try to understand a little bit of formatting and conclude today's session. So now formatting is where you want to add more presentation to your cells. So first thing that I would want to say is the font. You can go ahead, select fonts from here. I'm going to select one of the fonts, and then maybe later I've made it bold, and then increase the font size, right? So I'm going to increase the font size to, let's say, 24. Okay. Now you can select a particular color, and you can select a particular background color also, right? So what we can do, this is what is called fill color or highlight in MS Excel. You can go ahead, click on this, and maybe I'm going to select green. Okay, you can change it. Then you can change the font color to, let's say, white. And now, because you're not able to see it here, there's another tool that we use in formatting is merging. You can select multiple cells and go ahead and do this, right? So give me a second. Yeah, so you can click on this particular tool called merge cells. So when you do that, be careful of when you're merging cells, because this limits your other abilities while we go forward, like filtering and all. But you can always use it to merge more cells, right? So I'm going to then click this particular align icon to align it within center, right? So there are other ways to give borders also. So maybe I'm going to click here on borders. You can give a full border, or you can just give a border below, right? Bottom border. So I'm going to click on bottom border and see how it looks. Maybe if you want to increase the length of your border, you can go ahead and do that. Click on borders here, increase the border length from here, and then give the bottom border, right? So you can see that it starts to look like this. If you want to change the fill colors and all, you can go ahead and change it from here, right? So this is one, and we'll also try to format in a similar way this particular header also. Similarly, you can select multiple columns, but I'm going to select, let's say first bills and Jan. Similarly, I'm going to highlight it, change the font color maybe, make it bold because it's a header, right? So I like this. Okay, let's say if you want to fix on any other this thing, you can fix it. But now if you want to copy any particular formatting to other cells, there is a very easy way to do that, and that is this copy format paint formatter option, right? So first you select any cell and click on the paint format option, then you copy it and select all the cells where you want that formatting to be pasted, right? So now you can see that it copied all the formatting. So this is really many times useful. For example, if I'm going to make any formatting to this particular cells, right? And let's say I'm going to center them, and if I want to take the same formatting to other cells, I'm going to click on the paint formatter and drag it to all the places where I want that particular formatting to be visible, right? So if at all you want to center these, you can go ahead and do these, align center, and that is how you format. Maybe you might want to format because this is like the formatting overall. If at all you want to give a border, you can select more cells, click on border. Now because you already set bold borders and border colors, if you click on all borders, it's going to give a bold border. If at all you not want that, you can go ahead, make it smaller, and give the borders once again, right? So now you have them. Now how to copy paste the whole cells with the formulas? You can always select all of them, use your Control X feature. Maybe you want to take it left or right, you can paste it some other place as well, right? So you can bring it here. Okay. Similarly, you can do a formatting or bold towards the total, and maybe you would want to give a border to that. You can go ahead and give a similar border. It will be helpful if you're going to take a printout of the same, right? So now you can see that here these are right aligned and percent and total are left aligned, which is not looking good. You can go ahead and align all of them towards the right, or maybe you can align all of them to center, right? Based upon your choice. So right alignment is better because you have decimals here. So if you left align, what is going to happen specifically with numbers is it will look in a wavy format, which does not look good, right? So this is how you format and copy formatting. Now if at all you want to format any of your numbers, now because these are rupees and you want to have a currency symbol, you can select these numbers, right? So all of these are numbers, and in rupees. Then you can click on format, then you can click go to number. If you have specified in dollars, you can click on the dollar currency, or you can go here into the custom currency and either select a dollar. So let me first go ahead and put dollars. So you can see that all the numbers are visible in dollars, but dollar is not our sign. If at all you want to go ahead and put your symbol, which is rupee, you can go ahead and find rupee here. So you can see that Indian rupee is visible. You click that, and you can see that this is how it is going to look. Then click on apply, right? So you're going to apply the currency format to all of your cells as well, right? So now you can see the count does not come in rupees, so that is why it did not take the currency, but you did not have to apply here. It automatically, because it was max and average of all of these, it automatically took the currency formatting, right? So this is how you can work with Excel and formatting. You can create multiple sheets also, right? For example, I'm going to create multiple sheets, and you can name monthly budget here. And the other way to work with sheets is you can always go ahead and right click here and click on duplicate if at all you want to make a copy of the same, right? If at all you want to do that, you can always do that. Right click, delete to delete any particular sheet. Or if at all you want to hide any specific column, because now percent is something that you wanted to know and did not want to share, so you can go ahead, right click on that particular cell and click on hide. So you can see that that column is still there on the sheet, but it is hidden here, right? So you click there and then only it will be visible. So you can do undo and hide columns. So if you have a lot of columns with a lot of data, you do not want to these columns to be visible because it is moving out of bounds or something, then you can go ahead and hide a few columns which are not relevant for your operation currently, right? So thank you so much for joining in today's session. We have learned till formatting. We'll try to go forward and learn more of advanced Excel as we proceed forward. Thank you so much for joining in. If you have any other questions, you can put it in the chat section. If at all you have any other inputs, you can use it in the comment section. If this is the first time you are watching this particular Excel, any of your new ways that you found, like the format or anything that you found new, you can definitely mention that in the comment section, because Excel and Google Sheets are a very useful tool. Many times we do not know all of them, right? So if you find there is an easier way also, let us know in the comments, right? Thank you so much everyone for joining in, and let's learn more Excel and advanced Excel as we proceed forward. Thanks everyone.